Hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. If you've not subscribed to our channel, please do. Let's Talk Ray Bradbury is the playlist and show here on Let's Talk where over the last few years I've been working on reviewing every single short story ever written by the great Ray Bradbury. Today we are reviewing our 169th short story, which is The Illustrated Woman from 1961. It originally appeared in Playboy, and despite its title, seems to have no apparent connection to his more famous collection, The Illustrated Man, also a short story in that collection, which was loosely centered around a man who was the tattooed man in a circus, and all of his tattoos told different stories. This does feature circus workers, and it does feature tattoos. So the way these videos work is that I do a brief synopsis of all the action and the plot from the story, and then I wrap up the video with just a few thoughts on what it means to me, what the story might mean, and really, how it might be still applicable even 60 or 80 years after it's been written. So The Illustrated Woman. 400-pound Emma Fleet walks into the offices of Dr. George C. George, psychiatrist. He sees her, she weighs 400 pounds, and immediately he's expecting her to want help losing weight. She insists, no, that's not why I'm here. In fact, I'd like to gain a few hundred pounds. Emma Doone sits down and tells the story of how she met and married Willy Fleet, a midget and guess your weight man in a traveling show. Turns out Willy's true calling was as a tattoo artist, and they marry and spend the next 8 years with him, allegedly inscribing his masterpiece all over her body. And throughout that time, she gained weight and tried to create more canvas for him. But now the canvas is full, and she's noticed that he's paying less attention to her. He's looking at other women, guessing their weight. He's gone back to the old guess your weight job. And she's really quite concerned that he is going to leave. The doctor... So, rather than gaining weight, a better way would be to, can you remove your tattoos? I think that would work great. He would have another brand new canvas for you, for himself to inscribe on you, and he can spend the next 8 years doing it all over again. Then Emma has the bright idea of standing up, ripping open her trench coat, I assume, revealing that she's in fact naked underneath, and the doctor sees a body that is completely devoid of tattoos and is a pristine white. She thanks him for all her help, rushes out. In the waiting room there sits Willy, and he sees a blank canvas, or he sees it as well, and they go off and live happily ever after, presumably. Dr. George doesn't know if both of them are crazy about seeing tattoos, or if it's him. But out of pure luck, it seems that his advice is going to help them, because now she sort of has this appearance, or has this idea of starting all over, and lo and behold, there's no tattoos, so it'd be much easier to start over because that'd be a lot of tattoos to remove. So it's a fun little comedy at its heart. Not at all what I was expecting. I think really it's a story about relationships and sort of the eccentricities of long relationships. In our world, we call it the 7-year itch. For them, it was 8 years, but suddenly they're having the feeling that they're less attracted to one another, and they're spending less time together, and it's concerning them, and particularly Emma, and she doesn't know what to do, and here she's found herself in therapy. I love this. It's a very absurd way to sort of tackle that very plain issue. The other thing is, I want to say, is I think Bradbury's probably commenting a little bit on psychiatry. It helps a lot of people, but I think there's a lot of dumb luck also involved. How does sitting around and telling what you feel and think to a stranger who you pay, how does that work? It never worked for me, and I briefly tried it. And I think for people of a certain type of consciousness and self-awareness, it's very dubious that any of this can work. Take a pill, talk to me, and it's going to make your life better. It's like, yeah, the things that I'm talking about were never secrets to anyone to begin with. How does that work? And that was always my feeling. But in this case, the psychiatrist is sort of amazed because he had the dumb luck of suggesting that this woman remove her tattoos, and oh, look, she doesn't have any tattoos. And so it's like, thanks for nothing, doc, but you'll still get paid and take the credit. And, you know, so it's like there's three main characters in this story, Emma, Willy, and the doctor, and none of them actually did anything. Apparently, Willy didn't tattoo her. Emma has no tattoos to be removed, and the doctor didn't really. His suggestion was pure dumb luck. So I love that. It's a lot of something created out of nothing, and I guess in the end, maybe that's part of the charm as well. About love, it's take a lot of it on faith, and it's if you can convince yourself of something. Is it unreal? Or is it real? Is it mind over matter? And I think that's certainly the case here. But yeah, that's a charming little tale called The Illustrated Woman from 1961, originally appearing in Playboy. Next time, we'll be moving on to Some Live Like Lazarus from 1960. That is story number 70 of 100 in the Stories of Ray Bradbury, in case you're following along. And that's also our 170th Ray Bradbury review so far. The Stories of Ray Bradbury will take us through to story number 200. And then, as I was pointing out before, after that, it's going to get a lot more hard to sort of track down these stories because there's somewhere between, I hear, 300 and 600 Ray Bradbury short stories out there in the ether somewhere. And but I'm determined. If it takes the next 10 years, I'm going to do it. And I hope that you will join me on that ride. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again soon.